About the Raven Queen that you don't know. Well, actually, until I put the actual video up for patrons very soon. The juice of Safu. Hello, everybody. It's that time again. It's live stream. I've got a lot of things to talk about today. Good news. Mostly good news, actually. In fact, it's entirely good news. And this is my usual stream time. Hey, how's it going? Axe Poison. Hey, Trey. So I'll get straight into the various announcements. It's going well, thank you. So I've got a product to review and show you today, which is the Deck of Many Kickstarter that I backed, and my cards arrived from that, so I thought you might be interested in what those decks actually look like. I'm not sponsored in any way, I'm just sharing a cool thing. Hey, consider taking a new job? No, Ricky, I haven't. I'm bound and determined to make a go of this. And thanks to you guys, I will. That's the other thing I was going to talk about is the Patreon backing. So you guys have saved my ass. Yeah. 3.5 for Life Heretics. 3.5 was pretty good. Yeah, I'm generally happy. It takes a lot to get me down. Okay, so Patreon. Just to let you guys know where it's at. So I asked for you guys to help me out on Patreon, and you've completely blown me away. My pledges have grown by $129.50 since I made that call out, which is more than doubled what it was before. So that's basically made it. You've saved my ass and allowed me to be independent of YouTube. So thanks to you, I can still basically do this. So that's great. As a result of that, the format for my release of videos, which you may already have noticed, is I haven't released my regular videos. They're all being released to patrons a week in advance. So you'll get all of those videos at the start of next week. And I'll continue making videos in the background for everyone else. So yeah, so that's good. So basically, you still get all the content. It's just that there's a bonus for the patrons, in that they get to see everything as soon as I've made it. Everybody else gets to see it a week later. And that also means, thanks to the patronage from you generous donors, that I don't have to change my content, because if that's the other thing too. I haven't heard anything else from YouTube. It's been days now, and I haven't heard any further word from them. Nor the person who's helping me out, so they haven't got back to him. They haven't got back to me. They're actually refusing to answer my second ticket that I put through on the same topic. And I don't know if any of you have got any answers from them on the tickets that you've raised about it, but I would say probably not. So yeah. So my format on my videos is not going to change, because there's no point changing anything. If I don't know what the problem was originally, why should I compromise my content based on the bullying of YouTube for no frickin' reason? So yeah, so I've carried on making videos as per usual. Thanks, man. No, I appreciate it. Everything helps, even like just $1 a month. So what you do, the way Patreon works is you determine, it's a per video donation, but you set the total amount of donations that you give each month. So you could set it at say $10 for per video, but set your limit at $10. That way, the first video that I make in the month will get $10, and then no more will come out of your account, essentially. And you get access to everything, even if you just donate $1 per month. But that $1 per month makes a big difference. With enough people doing it, just that small amount, it supports me to do this professionally. So yeah, consider it. And it's not necessary. You do get to watch the videos for free anyway. But yeah, I will clearly be paying more attention to what patrons ask for in the future, because they and not YouTube, and as a general audience, is really who I'm beholden to. They're my boss now. So yeah. Broke, yeah. Tell me about it. So yeah, just the price of a coffee a month is enough to support me, honestly, because there's like 8,000 of you, and if you all contribute a little bit, then that helps. It really does help. So if you like, let's put it this way: if you've been watching my videos on a regular basis for months, then yeah, just a little bit is all I ask. So yeah, no news from YouTube. The Demon series, which I've been reticent to do because of YouTube's bullshit tactics with like them saying that it's not an advertiser friendly word. That's clearly what was going on with those videos. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been flagged for demonetization for any other reason. Essentially, I can just do those now. So on my Discord server, I've got a list of all of the videos that are upcoming, and I've posted a list of all of the possible demon videos in that series, and it's an extensive list because I've posted those of you who have seen that list, by the way, those are all the demons listed in chronological order as they appear in Dungeons and Dragons, at least according to Wikipedia. So that's going to be a fairly comprehensive series of videos. Obviously, I won't do them back to back because even though I've got a lot of positive feedback that people really like hearing about demons in the game, I don't want to overload everybody with lots of those. Plus, there's a lot of dragons and stuff I haven't covered yet, and that sort of thing. Open the abyss! Yeah, lots of demons. So yeah, for a while it's going to be like the demon channel, but that's fine. That's fine. I really like them anyway. Yeah, this is the mascot. I wore this for a reason. Well, honestly, it's Jake. It doesn't matter if YouTube gets their heads out of their asses at this point. With the support from you guys, I can do it without them, basically. It also means I don't have to go completely over to Twitch, which would be all sorts of problems in and of itself, because I'd just turn into another Twitch streamer, I would like to investigate Twitch for the artwork that I do, because that's not so suitable. Like, people will sit and watch somebody on Twitch for hours at a time doing artwork, but they won't necessarily tolerate that on YouTube. So yeah. Fiendish dragons, yep, all the different types of dragons. I got the Lenorms coming up too, and I was just reading about the Greyhawk Dragon, which is actually the steel dragon from Faerun. Interestingly enough, it started off as a Greyhawk Dragon, but it's exactly the same. More Tiamat. I've pretty much covered Tiamat, man. I don't know if I could do any more on Tiamat. Really, what else is there that you need to know? Oh yeah, another way that you can support me is, and also get cheap entertainment for yourself, is that Chrono link that I put on the in the bottom of my description video of my videos as well. Chrono has got a big E3 promotion coming up. So basically, what it is you buy games through Chrono, through Steam or whatever. They give big discounts, like 33% or 60% off something off games. I personally don't play a lot of games myself, and I don't have the money to afford lots of games. So the E3 sales go from June 10th to the 14th, and on day 3 is one in particular you should be looking out for. I can't give you any details. It is a 33% discount off this game, but it's a really good game, so you should definitely check that out. Unfortunately, I can't tell you what that is, so it's something to keep an eye out for, and that gives me like an 18% cut on whatever you pay for those games, so that supports me as well and gets something for you. For those of you who don't feel like just donating for nothing, you can get something for yourself and give me a little kickback, which is nice. And also it means that I don't have to, I'm not like, I'm not promoting their games or anything. I'm not doing Let's Plays and stuff on my channel. Bahamut. I've done Bahamut as well. Yeah, the Lenorms are interesting. Yeah, the Abyss is like really interesting because it's a whole lot of different planes of existence in and of itself. So it's like a whole different cosmology, really, and they're all interconnected. Oh yeah, the dragon gods. Yeah, I haven't really talked about those. Good point. I should note that down, because that's kind of the crowning. That'll be kind of the last dragon video, wouldn't it be? Dragon Pantheon. Also, after the original disruption and disaster with the channel, I'm getting into the swing of uploading almost every day. So I've actually put out, this will be the 3rd video this week. And it's a pretty good one. This one that I'm going to be doing today is the Raven Queen. And yeah, I know stuff about the Raven Queen now. I discovered something in the lore that was pretty damn obscure. So I don't know if anybody else's videos have talked about it. But I know the origin of the Raven Queen, what she was doing when she fell to ruin and then rose. I haven't done a video on Yanogu yet. He's one of the Lords of Ruin that I want to cover, for sure. Somebody asked me about the Lords of Ruin before. Lords of Ruin series it includes Demon Lords, the Lords of the Nine Hells, and Primordials, and powerful Obriths. So it's not just Demon Lords. It's Lords of the lower planes. Basically, they have to be devoted to destroying reality as we know it, or as the D&D people know it. Yeah, it's going to be a good one on the Raven Queen. Not an extensively long video on the Raven Queen. Like, I'm not covering a lot of stuff that people know in the current game, like pacts, the specific details of pacts and things like that. Just talking about who the Raven Queen is and what the motivations of her clergy and followers and what she herself does and where she came from, and some theories and things that I have on it. Griffins. Oh yeah, I haven't done Griffins yet. Thanks for the reminder. I'll bump that up the list. I saw a really good picture of a, in my Raven Queen research, I saw a really great picture of a Raven Griffin, which looked beautiful. Okay, so I'll show you the deck of many, shall I? First of all, there's this bonus card. I don't know how this is going to show up on camera, but it's Dancing Lights. And it's like the only spell card that they have here. I hope they do actually do their own spell cards, because these are really cool. And on the back here, it gives you, so on the front it's got your action, its range, what components it needs, and its casting time. Just the basics, and it's a level 1 evocation, and it gives more details on what it does on the back there. A bit of phosphorus or witchwood or a glowworm is its component, and they give you 35 in all the various decks that you got in the Kickstarter, 35 bonus blank monster cards, which have got the space for the name, the CR, the race alignment, and credits to whoever made the monster, and a place for you to put a picture of the monster. And this is quite really nice quality glossy cards, these. Like, they're going to last for a long time. And it gives you the stats at the top, the name, skills, saving throws, senses, languages on the first line there, immunities, resistances, and weaknesses, and then special actions, attacks and reactions. Gives you space to talk about there. With down the bottom, you've got the armor class, the hit points, and speed. So pretty simple, and you got 35 to fill in your own whatever monsters you want. The decks themselves come in these reasonably slim packs. I kind of wish these were a bit bigger, because if you want to fit the extra cards in there, you've got no actual deck to put these in, unless you split them up amongst all the different decks. So they've got Monsters 1, Monsters 2, and Monsters 3. They're all for 5th edition, and just to give you an idea of what they look like, some of them have got really cartoony art on them, and some of them have got quite realistic art on them. So for instance, one of the Kickstarter backer cards was the Medusa, and there's part 1 and part 2 of that card, just so it can fit all the details and stuff in there, but that's essentially what they look like. But the rest of them, and you got wyverns and things, Lich one, Tarask, but the rest of them have got this kind of cartoony art on them. So animated armor. Oh, that's one. Oh, 36 blank cards. They've got some joke cards as well. Like, this is a behind flayer, which is like a fart illithid. Black pudding, bugbear, centaur, dryad, all sorts of classic monsters in there. And they've got other decks which have got more sort of animals and things. So all in all, I'd say they're pretty good reference cards for just like throw them down on the table, and that way you can see all of the stats of the monster ready to go, which save you like printing out pages off monster manuals and things. They've got a deck of NPCs, which is really good because it's got a lot of obscure classes in there, like cultists and like scouts and things like that. Really good. Deck of many. This is like the deck of many things. So it's useful for they're tarot-sized cards that, and this can be used for if you're running a game where you've got a deck of many things like thing, or you just want inspiration from symbols. That's pretty good for this. Magic. 9 AM stream. Well, it's 11 AM over here. So they do have rules on what the cards do. And they've got an avatar of death, so it definitely is like a deck of many things. They've got the void, the vizier, the throne, talons, sun, star, skull, ruin, rogue, moon. So they're a bit different. And the knight looks like a duck. Key, jester, idiot, gem, fool, flames, the fates, Uridale, dungeon, comet, balance. Oh yeah, so they are like the deck of many things. Different artwork. I like it. I've come up with my own deck of many things using the Taroka deck though, so I did. So yeah, and then they've got a deck of conditions, which has got four of each of the conditions printed on both sides of the card, and then we've got a deck of weapons as well. So all in all, with all the monsters and the NPCs and the items and stuff, it's a pretty good deal from the Kickstarter. It took them a while to get everything done and sent out. Like, it was a bit later than they advertised, but they kept us well informed as to what the hell was going on, and it was all quality control issues, so I can forgive that, really. Yeah, so that's that. Well worth picking up. I think the NPC pack is probably the most useful. If you haven't got a deck of many things, that one is probably also a good deal because they're quite nice and they last for a long time. The monsters, they're alright. The items are all just common like weapons and stuff, and they still don't have a spiked chain. And the conditions is pretty good. So yeah, probably the NPCs would be the best deck to pick up. Price range, I'm not entirely sure what the price range is retail. You can back them on Patreon as well. I don't know, I didn't look that up. It would be different in whatever place you were at anyway. Over here in New Zealand it would be an arm and a leg, basically, if you could even get them. So yeah. But what about you guys? What's going on with you? Yeah, it is a deck of many things. I could probably look them up actually. They're probably on Amazon or something. The deck became his familiar. Interesting. I like the idea of artifacts that just are like living things almost. I remember Terry Pratchett was like that too, with like, if magic becomes sufficiently powerful, it becomes a motive force of its own. Like the spells of creation being sentient. That's really cool. And Rincewind the wizard, who couldn't learn any other spells. Oh, it's got a web URL. Okay, let's have a look. Let's find it for you. The deck of many. Pre-order the deck of many. On Twitter. So that's Kickstarter as well. Looks like it'll be $16 per deck or $69 for a complete set. If you pre-order. $16 is not too bad. I think the Taroka deck was like, how much was that? $18? And that was a lot of really good artwork on those cards. So yeah, I would definitely say pick up the NPC deck if you like it. Pick up some more. The conditions deck is also pretty handy. Yeah, and if you don't have a deck of many things, the deck of many things is pretty good. The monsters, they're all right. They're okay. I don't know if I'm going to use them that much. Maybe. James, nice to see you. Let's talk about necromancy. Yeah, D&D's like that, Jacob. Honestly, you get into it and you just first you get into it because it's just cool and sort of like a subculture, and then you get into it because your friends are into it, and it becomes a social glue that binds you all together. It's like people who play poker. You know, they get into playing poker and then they get into the friendship and camaraderie of it, and it becomes a regular sort of thing that they do. And after a while, it's not really about the poker. What do I think of play as monster? Oh, it's fine. I've played in games like that. Yeah, I like Magic the Gathering too. I've still got some cards around somewhere. I don't get to play it though. Oh, good, Jake. Yeah. I'm going to be producing some videos where I actually write modules and produce them as videos that you can watch and give you all the information for running a game with timestamps in the description, so you can go from section to section in the adventure. Keep them pretty simple. Somebody asked me about that, Yanogu. Yeah, I'm going to be doing Yanogu soon. Mephistopheles will be up next, and then maybe Yanogu. Putting the demon into monetization. Yeah. Exactly. They don't know what they've unleashed. They don't know how much I was holding back. Let's talk about illusion. Yeah. So that's about all of the stuff that I had to talk about, really. So now it's just chatting time. There's been some pretty good chats on the Discord channel over the last couple of days. Yeah, a lot of people still play Magic the Gathering. Paint and Obelix live. Somebody who said that maybe it was the Obelix video which caused problems, because I released it pretty much the same time that Wizards of the Coast were releasing their video on the Obelix. It was like only a couple of days difference. So maybe YouTube was like, oh, you know, you're duplicating their content. It's like, no, it's just a subject. If you analyze the two videos, between them making a video about the Obelix and me making a video about the Obelix, which one's got their more detailed information and is actually more useful? Which one had the actual person who invented the Obelix come in and comment on the comment section? Gnolls and Neverwinter. I wonder if they're winter gnolls. Have I played the One Piece D20? No, I have not. In fact, I've not actually seen a lot of episodes of One Piece. I know what it's about though. How would I handle energy damage from D20 Modern ported into 5e? Well, 5th edition has already got, like, if you go to the Dungeon Master's Guide, and there's info on laser weapons and particle beam weapons. So essentially, if it's not radiant, photonic, or lightning, which would be plasma, would be heat, so flame. Photons, lasers, and stuff would be radiant, and any dematerialization or disruption or disintegration is necrotic damage, and otherwise it'll be force damage. So, and then you handle it just like any other ranged weapon. One of the main differences with like lasers and things is that accuracy wouldn't drop off that much over great distances, but they still put ranges for close and long range in the weapon descriptions in there as well. So they give you a basic point for firearms, black powder firearms, modern firearms, and advanced weapons in the Dungeon Master's Guide. So it's strange how often that question comes up, but actually when it's right there on the pages for you. What is your favorite color in Magic the Gathering? My favorite color in Magic the Gathering is blue. Blue-green decks. So anything where you can mess up your opponent and then bring out great big whaley monsters to beat on them, I like it. I think that red is kind of like the OP deck, but it's also vulnerable to being countered. Favorite type of monster NPC to roleplay? Barriors. Barriors. I wish that Barriors were actually a main character race that you could play. Because if you're going to play an interplanar hero, Barriors are a really good option. They should hire me to write the next monster manual. Really. I've yet to write one good D&D book, to be honest. Sorry, what was that? Can a Dragonboard Ranger Monster Hunter have the Tooth of Vector and use it as a special bite? Yeah, for sure. I like kobolds too. I've already talked about the specific stuff. I was researching. I've just finished my my script on the Raven Queen. So that's a video that's going to be coming up quickly. So that's really on my mind at the moment, is talking about the Raven Queen. But I can't really talk about the Raven Queen to anybody but my patrons, because they get to see everything a week in advance. The first video you guys are going to see is the one that I uploaded first. What was that? Da -da -da, da -da. Let me just go to... You'll be able to see them anyway, because you can see the topic of the posts on Patreon. You just can't access the videos themselves. They're just unlisted. So there's... Oh, the red caps, and then the introduction to the Demon series. And there's a little video about me drawing stuff. And today I'll be uploading the Raven Queen's video. So yeah. Yeah, a lot of people thought that it was like the Lich and the Mind Flayer videos that I updated, but the titles were different and the content was completely different. So I wonder. Mono blue decks? Nah, not mono. Like blue white is really hard to beat sometimes. It's like the passive aggressive deck. And I once made a pure artifact deck as well, just using colorless mana, which was cool in principle, but not a winning deck for sure. You haven't played D&D yet, James? Unbelievable. You should definitely check out the Discord server, and you guys should start organizing some actual games over like Skype and stuff. Just organize, get to know who's online at what time, and then run some games over Skype. It's better than nothing. Skype games can be great. Or Google Hangouts, because it's free, essentially, as long as you've got an internet connection. Yeah, that's a question, Lee. I wonder, how many people actually read the entire Dungeon Master's Guide or the Player's Handbook? Or they just flipped to the class that they like and learned that and then said, yeah, I know it. True, very true. Yeah, shard mines. Pathfinder is coming out in a month, and the new rulebook is coming out in a year. Yeah, that's pretty much would be my specialty, Scott. I mean, all adventures can basically come down to a bunch of encounters, don't they? So it's set piece adventures that you can intersperse in a broad story, which is a sandbox that you're putting your players into. You don't make it so that they have to go to every encounter in the order that they're written in the book, because that's a linear adventure. But you don't make it so sandboxy that they can just skip the entire adventure itself. Essentially, wherever they go, they're going to run into certain encounters, and those encounters are pre-prepared so that they're really cool. And you can change the difficulty of them if they haven't come across the resources that they need. What do I think about the lore, the new lore of the Raven Queen? It's not actually the new lore of the Raven Queen. So they haven't invented anything that wasn't around already, and they've actually omitted a couple of bits of info which are kind of very bloody interesting. So in my video I'm going to be talking about some stuff which they didn't talk about. They alluded to it, but it's all canonical. So I'll be able to tell you in the video. I talk about stuff which I'm theorizing and spitballing, and I tell you there where I'm just like thinking about what it could be. But there are bits in there which are directly from the canon of the Raven Queen. So I've taken them directly from print sources, which are very obscure. You have to piece them together from various listings of different monsters, but it paints a very complete picture of what the Raven Queen was doing, who she was. Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool, Dragon Ball, but it's kind of... I'm not remonetized, no. As you may notice, none of you can do a super chat. So, yeah. YouTube is not paying me anything. I'm a free elf. I have played games with a lot of the D&D YouTubers in days gone by. I played with Nerdarchy, I played with Matt Click, various others. Wouldn't exactly call her the goddess of adventurers. She's the goddess of, oops, we died in the wilderness and nobody is collecting our body. Ah, that's right. A priest of Raven Queen will come, a bone picker will come along and take your corpse back to town. Hey Mark! All is well, thanks to you guys. You honestly have saved my bacon. Yeah, I don't know what the cause was, Damien, honestly. They're not telling me. So they've made it effectively impossible for me to remonetize because I don't know what the situation was that caused it in the first place. And without the details of knowing why, I can't fix it. So that's pretty fucked, honestly. It's a hatchet job. It's like, nah, you can't do what you were doing before. We're not going to give you any money. It's like, why? Well, we're not going to tell you. I'm just going to give you a broad category of stuff. My favorite weapons in D&D? Longsword. Sword and board, man, all the way. Spears are also really good. Not enough people use polearms too in 5th edition, I've noticed. But polearms are awesome. Reach. Don't underestimate reach. Yeah, exactly. Read every inch of the DMG and every inch of the Player's Handbook for a 2nd and 3rd edition, as well as for the Eldritch Magic and the Wizard's Compendium, as well as the Psionic Player's Handbook. Nice. That's a good start. There is so much information to learn about D&D. I honestly don't know if I will ever be able to remonetize my D&D channel, and unless they tell me how or what's going on. So I could reapply in 28 days or whatever it is, but what was the cause in the first place? I don't know. They're not telling me. They're not even investigating. So it sucks, but essentially it just means that, yeah, I can make whatever videos you want me to. YouTube would actually have to take the videos down. Like they can't penalize me for it. They can't say, oh, you know, it's a copyright strike or whatever. Like, not a copyright strike. They can't say it's a demonetized video to control me anymore because the entire channel has been demonetized. So what incentive have I got to listen to any of their guidelines or rules? None. I can make whatever I want. Yeah, well, there's Blind Sense. which basically is vibration sense. So you could be a blind monk that can see out to 60 feet. Yeah. Make a cooking show about Dungeons and Dragons and live stream it. I could make a special like snack of the week. It's like, have you tried making this? I don't know. They probably demonetize me because I'm not a female ASMR channel. That's right. Just roll the dice. I hate ASMR channels a little bit. Kind of like they're weird in a little bit. They're a bit weird. It's like a bit sexual, isn't it? I bet you enjoy baking, Dragon Lord. Oh, sorry, that's getting baked. The funny thing is in an earlier incarnation, I was a cook. My family ran a kitchen, a restaurant, a seafood restaurant. So I was a cook for about 14 years. So I could actually do a cooking show. Really? ASMR is autonomic nervous system response. So certain sounds make people get a certain physical reaction, like a pins and needles, or like a twitch when they hear certain sounds. So there's channels which have very good microphones and they specialize in whispering and making scratching noises and stuff like that. Like some people get a thrill when somebody whispers in their ear. Where do trolls come from in D&D? It's a good question. They do actually have a god, but I don't know if they've got a specific origin story. Yeah, everything apart from that is going really well, Sam, and even that is turning out to be a blessing in disguise, because it's kind of motivated everybody to pitch in and help out and turn this into their channel. Yeah. Bronyism, no. Demon cupcakes. Mostly used for relaxation and inducing sleep. Okay. There are people that get their jollies from it, though, I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many attractive females doing it. Horse whispering, I'm Batman. I've got a player at my game who gets a thrill from when I do certain accents, like an Irish brogue. I can do a pretty deep low accent. Just spawned from bridges. Blood for the troll god. Hobgoblin ration bars. Yeah, that would be actually very interesting. If you do like a halfling meal or a troll meal or something like that, like what does a hobgoblin actually eat? That would be interesting, actually. Because I know that there was like a Reddit or a subreddit or something like that, like an Instagram, where a person did a series of pictures of like a ration pack for a halfling or an elf and things. It's like, what do they actually eat? Who is the bigger glutton, Yanogu or Dewbleeks? I think Yanogu just eats because he wants to hurt things by eating them. He doesn't actually need the sustenance. Dewbleeks wants to absorb and destroy things. So, hard to say. They're demons. They don't really subsist on stuff like that. They grow from power itself. Yeah, unfortunately, I had to take down the Hobgoblin video still is there, but I took down the video of just that song. And I also took down my D&D music song as well, just in case those were the things which were causing copyright issues. Again, I don't know for sure. But they kind of weren't really the focus of my channel anyway. Like I don't use music in my channels at all. Music very much anyway, apart from the intro music. So I don't have background music and stuff for that very reason. Maybe now I'll be able to put more music in my videos. I don't care. It doesn't matter if somebody claims the proceeds from a video on here, because if it's demonetized, they're not earning anything anyway. So whatever. Yeah, it's been bumped up a lot. If it hits 250, essentially, I won't have lost out anything from YouTube demonetizing me. And the bonus of being paid per video on Patreon is that it greatly encourages me to increase my output of videos. So essentially, you get more and more work from me. That's why I've been doing them almost daily. So it really is a job. I wake up in the morning and I sit down and I make videos all day. Yeah. There's some good PDFs of the background settings for Magic the Gathering, which have been turned into D&D settings as well. Minotaur eating a cow. Yeah, good question. I don't know. How would you feel about that? That'd be like us eating primates. Like, we know that some people over in other countries eat primates, monkeys and actual chimps, which is gross. Don't eat chimps. Yeah, Magic the Gathering has got a huge amount of lore. And it should be developed. Think of all that art. The art resources and stuff from Magic the Gathering is incredible. All those cards. They've employed a lot of fantasy artists. Yeah. Well, I do like metal. I've come to understand that not as many people like dubstep as I do, but a lot of people like metal. So, yeah. Angry Video Game Nerd is on Amazon Prime now. A lot of YouTubers are losing faith in YouTube. Well, it's basically become just the platform that I upload my videos onto. If it becomes untenable, then I'll just move my videos somewhere else. So, yeah. Essentially, if you guys all send word, if you use the little help thingy and say, look, I'm very upset about what you've done to this channel, then they will listen, I imagine. They're just people. But again, they're people who have buttons that they push that do drastic things. So they could go, push no feedback from anyone on this subject, and it will just keyword my channel, and no one will ever get any word to them at all because they've just blocked it. Who knows? Chimps and salsa. No. They've always been corporate. They're Google, right? Google owns the two largest search engines, which are Google and YouTube. And I guess you could be thankful that it's mind-boggling that YouTube is actually free. It's mind-boggling when you consider. So we've got a lot to be thankful for, really, and we can't really complain a lot about it. It's unfortunate what happened to me, and we can complain about the process and things and try and improve it, but I don't wish the death of YouTube for sure. I mean, it's hugely useful. So personally, I'm upset about what's happened to me, but otherwise, I appreciate the channel. I appreciate the medium, the platform itself. So I'll rant and rave about it and wish that they did things differently, but I don't wish the destruction of YouTube for sure. Because I mean, what's the alternative really? There will probably be an alternative at some point. Nothing lasts forever. But what would that be? What's the shape of it? Well, YouTube was once a shit show. Honestly, you couldn't find anything. It was all crap. Even now, they've got like some really weird people making some really weird videos. Hulu. There's also those of you over in America. In New Zealand, I don't have access to some American channels and things. Like I just don't have any. Like Amazon Prime and stuff won't stream over here and things. We get Netflix and stuff, but there's a lot of things that we just don't get access to. I think Hulu might be one of them, because they like to license with other providers, so they'll go with like Sky TV or something like that here, which is kind of like our broadcast. We don't have cable, but we have something similar. So yeah, that's one of the things I dislike about corporations, is they try and partition information. They try and put artificial blocks on the flow of information, which they try and monetize. So yeah, although it's a pain in the ass having to delay things so that people on Patreon get to see my content a week before everyone else. It's just, you know, it's the least disruptive perk I think I could put in there. And I haven't heard anybody complain about it yet, so I'm glad that that's going down well. Hey, Gold King. It's good. Good man. Video on YouTube is commodity, not the product. Google makes most of its money from advertising, exactly. So if they've decided that my product is not advertiser friendly, then that's it. They don't have to give me an excuse, really. I heard a $10 ecstasy pill in New York costs $100 in New Zealand. I have no idea, but yeah, it'd be extremely expensive. We like I've never seen cocaine in my entire life. For example. YouTube is run by bots, it's true. Amazon Prime is going to put a Lord of the Rings TV series in New Zealand, but people can't watch it in New Zealand. Well, maybe in that case, I don't know. It'll be available through like some other thing, but I don't know if I can access Amazon. Wait a minute, is that the network that has the Tick, the live action Tick show, Amazon Prime? Because maybe I can get that. My problem though is that why would I subscribe to some other channel if I'm already subscribed? If I'm already paying money to Netflix, why don't I just pay money for Netflix to buy everybody else? There should be competition for sure, but I shouldn't have to pay extra money just to see other shows. I'm selfish. What can I say? Also, I don't want to pay more money than I should. And Netflix is coming up with the Dark Crystal series soon, limited series, so that's cool. Oh, it's got the Tick. Okay, so you can buy it and access it here in New Zealand. So there you go. Maybe it's Hulu I was thinking of. I'm not entirely sure. And I think I've managed to get affiliated with Amazon. But since I don't do like crafting videos and things like that, there's not much point in putting a link up for that. Yeah. So if somebody bought their rule books or something like that through Amazon Prime, I would get a kickback or something. But Amazon makes it really difficult to get paid if you're overseas. Like it has to be like a bank check or something. They don't pay into PayPal, for instance, which is a real pain in the ass. PayPal is very convenient for people overseas if they operate in your country. If I had a choice of what Lord of the Rings character I'd want to play, let's see, who gets all the women? Aragorn. But he's a bit obligated though. Legolas is pretty cool because everybody likes Legolas, and he's got all sorts of superpowers. But like with Turiel, for instance, he was a bit of a dick. I mean, so I don't know. If I was Legolas, I'd be getting my leg over all the time, honestly. There'd be lots of half elves. Hmm. Yeah, originally a Taras could only be killed by making a wish. Multiple wishes, I think. It's changed a bit over the years. Code. Isn't that supposed to be mage? Lord of the Rings, AJ isn't AJ automatically Frodo by living where he is? That's kind of true. There's lots of orcs in New Zealand though. Somebody needs to talk about the orc problem. And basically, where the orchard is, where my parents' orchard is essentially the Shire. Like Matter, which is quite close by, is where the Shire film set is, but the actual Shire is like the Bay of Plenty and Katikati. So if you want to look in, I'll put a. This is the name of the region that I'll be living in. If you want to Google it. And the main town nearby is called Tauranga. So that's the area that I'll be living in, where guacamole flows like water. It's a beautiful place, honestly. Yeah, you'd think I'd get a copyright strike. Essentially, I avoided copyright strikes by not having music that would be able to be picked up by the AIs, because I changed the tempo and things. But perhaps the channel just said we can detect that there's music there, so we're just going to assume that it's not cool. On the orchard, there's kiwi fruit. By the way, they're called kiwi fruit in New Zealand, not kiwis. We're called kiwis. They're called kiwi fruit, but overseas everyone just calls them kiwis, so it gets a bit confusing for us. They were originally Chinese gooseberries, which we stole and grew here and marketed them as a New Zealand thing, but they're not actually a native New Zealand fruit. So we've got kiwi fruit, and we've got lots and lots of mandarins and tangelos, so lots of citrus growing around the main house. We've got a huge avocado tree, we've got a fig tree, we've got apples, and we also grow guavas and things like that as well. We can't grow like coffee or bananas, it's too cold. We do get like frosts once or two times a year, so that'll kill coffee trees and things. But we can grow nuts and all sorts of other stuff. Yeah, and vegetables and things just burst out of the ground, so we can grow tomatoes and all that sort of stuff. Passion fruit, tamarillos, all sorts. Well, here's hoping, Brother Malachi. You never know. The funniest D&D death? Let's see. One time I spent all day making a ninja character, and then the DM said that I had to roleplay going and buying my equipment. I walked in, and in character said, "Have you got any ninja tools?" And he went, "Ninja!" and stabbed me, and I died. So, funny. Very funny. But I've also had a character that he was somebody else's character in the game, and he died fighting Chul in a pond or whatever it was, and his character was dying and sinking into the water, and he actually did the whole salute and went down into the water. That was hilarious. His battle cry was "Doom Hammer." Oh, that's interesting art. Yeah, well, then I guess it's not the music. We don't eat kiwis, and also kiwis taste awful, apparently. Yeah, it's interesting about the weave. I'm not really into anime per se. There are certain things that I enjoy, like Ghost in the Shell, Appleseed, Akira, things like that. But I don't really like the kind of lampoonish stuff. Mainly, I don't like the artwork on a lot of anime, for instance, like the disproportionate proportions of things. And I don't know why they have like Europeans living in Japan. Like, why are they so European looking? It's kind of weird. Why is Kiwi a slur against Australians and New Zealanders? No, it's not. We like the word Kiwi. No, I'm not going to take down any videos. The only videos that I've taken down are the ones that I thought might be a problem. But nobody's really lost any content. Apart from, I'm going to have to redo the video on the Brass Dragon. And the Rock. Yeah, 12 should be fine. I would say 8 in this day and age. I mean, there's no sex on my channels. There's a bit of violence. There's a bit of like horror and stuff. But it's like, when I was a kid, I grew up on a sheep farm, on a farm, right? So I saw animals getting killed and stuff. It's context. So, you know, maybe introduce your kid to the idea of where burgers come from before you introduce them to the idea to, you know, fantasy, horror and violence. Teach them about reality first. Stop being a Kiwi. Never. Robotech. Yep. Lodos War. Yep, I like that. That's all right. Demon stories are your bedtime stories. Yeah. I'm not overly concerned about kids watching the channel or not. I know that some do. And that was part of like the reason why I avoided some subjects and things. But yeah, I think kids can generally handle it. I mean, think about what you talked about when you were a kid to other kids. Kids aren't like little fragile glass things walking around. They're pretty damn robust. They can talk about some heinous shit. No problem, man. Like a lot of the problem with like my videos wouldn't offend a kid unless they've been artificially restricted by their parents from experiencing the world. And that's not my fault. That's the parents' fault. That's the school system's fault for cottonballing them. Like when I was a kid, we experienced reality, death, eating things that were alive and pets before, dead things. We poked stuff with sticks. We ate stuff that we shouldn't. And as a result, none of us died. We were stronger as a result of it. Is Stroud von Zarovich a good character? Yeah, he's a pretty good villain. I do actually have some videos of me running a game online, Damien, but I don't record games which are my home games because that's just me hanging out with my friends, and that's private. Understandably, we talk about our lives, And if you record something for public consumption, it influences what you're saying during the game, and it makes it feel weird. Loved your pink slime video. Put a similar monster in my RPG as a result. Players ain't gonna like me. They might if they can exploit it. They might love it. You may end up regretting it. Life Drain, a human-shaped mimic. What was... Yeah, if I just stick with the lore, then it's not my fault. That's the subject material, and any kid can walk into a shop and pick up a book. What are you going to do? Not let them read? Nice. Bag of holdings are cool. See you later, Grimhild. Thanks for your support. Thank you to everybody. I wish I could invite you all around for a party. Yeah. Oh, draw a dragon on it. Or an ashtray. I love fighting fantasy books. I haven't heard of Grail Quest. I'll have to look that up. What is an astral dreadnought? It's a massive big creature of mysterious origin that moves through the astral sea and eats things. It's a scary fucking thing. How do you make a powerful undead as a character? The spells are pretty limiting. Essentially, that's pretty game breaking if you do. They're not really intended to be player characters because their motivations are so alien to human ones that it's impossible to play them correctly. How deep do you have to dig a pit if you want to put an outhouse over an otyugh? Essentially, you make it so that the otyugh can't clamber up the side. Like, they're not really good at clambering up the slippery sides of a slope because they're stumpy little legs. So maybe like a bell-shaped funnel going into a pit down below with a water source going through it, and just the whole of the outhouse up above. So maybe 12, 16 feet. What a strange question. It's my favorite D&D inspired game. Diablo 2. No, I'm not familiar with Bloodborne. Yeah, that's true, Brother Malachi. An otyugh would talk to you as you're pooping. That's insanely creepy. Especially like if it's encouraging you. I don't want to play in that game. Maybe I do. What happens when you turn a bag of holding inside out and vice versa for a bag of devouring? Roll randomly on a table. Yeah, exactly. If you make an alchemist or somebody who's got access to a potion brewing kit, then she can make healing potions. So she can be an arcane spellcaster that can make healing potions. That's just as good. It's the game is set up basically so that arcane spellcasters can't cast healing spells, because otherwise why would you play a cleric? How would I create a Thor character? You could get a Empyrean and give them a thunder hammer. Dark Sun. Let's talk about Dark Sun. Have you heard the word of Dark Sun? Have you done a video on the pseudo-natural or paragon subtitles? I don't know what you're asking me. Cursed items, yeah. I could do a video on cursed items for sure. If Raging Swan Press is watching, make some tables on curses that you can put in items. I played Neverwinter. I haven't played Baldur's Gate or Planescape. Already answered that, Nicholas. How do I make more powerful undead as a character? The spells are pretty limiting. I want to turn Brontosaurus into a mobile home. Well, then do so. Just use the stats of a Brontosaurus and turn it into a zombie. Yeah, spells that drain from others are good. But you could make items and things like that that do that. So a crystal or something like that that drains hit points and that you can funnel into somebody else. The good thing about those is that it's a resource that you're taking from somebody else and using your own. So for instance, if you had a crystal that you could put your character's hit dice into, So it's essentially like spending healing surges into the crystal. So they're giving up their own resources and they're giving it to somebody else who can take that healing surge out, tax it a little bit, so there's always a loss, like entropy. And they have to attack creatures and drain points to restore their healing dice, sort of thing. They get temporary hit points, so it's always a bit of a loss. They can't like boost themselves up entirely. It's always like temporary hit points or whatever, and they are draining their own life force, and with the possibility of gaining exhaustion levels and things like that. So it becomes a dangerous game. So with arcane healing, it's disruptive, it's destructive. Whereas with divine healing, you're getting radiant healing from the heavens. Like, so if you flavor it that way, then you can balance it out, and also makes a kind of sense. Pets in D&D, yeah. People run pets quite differently in games. Yeah. Pseudo-natural was a subtyping just like Paragon. They turned them into templates in 3rd edition used to make standard creatures far more powerful. Oh, yeah. Templates were really big in 3.5. They've kind of got a bit of templates in 5th edition, but not much. Not as extensively. Oh, no problem, Hadley. Or not Hadley. Every weekend, man. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has, if I can catch them on the stream. The Witch, Arcane Caster with healing. Well, there you go. Would it be cool if the elemental plane started a war against the other elemental planes and had the campaign like Avatar, The Last Airbender? Yeah, that would be cool. Like some sort of elemental dominance thing, like if the plane of fire decided they wanted to burn everything. That would be interesting. What do I think is the most versatile class? Well, Bard. Bard and Monk are some of the 2 most versatile classes. But as for actual utility, wizards can be amazing at high level. They can do everything. Like you can solo an adventure as a wizard. Just don't charge into combat. Well, it's been over an hour, guys. So it's time for me to go and get back to work. I've got a script to narrate and an image stream to produce. So that'll take me the rest of the day. That'll be uploaded for the Patreon people in maybe 8 hours or so, or less. Everything was peachy until the fire elementals attacked. All the earth elementals just turned everything into solid rock. Can you imagine that? How do you stop a tide of rock? Or just water or air. The void, the nothing. I will, Jacob. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Be good, for goodness sakes. Woo. Yeah, best of luck with YouTube being stupid. Okay, see you later, everybody.